Hi, Neil here. This is a quick video to show you what check-ins are like on progression. So a check-in is a chance to assess yourself against the framework and to see how you're doing versus the expectations of your position. So a check-in you can do right from the feed. Up here in the box, we can select that, or you can click this add button and get to it from there. You can give the check-in a title and a description. So you might just want to label this as like Q3 check-in, or it might be an initial check-in if they've just joined the company. You can also pick the assessor and the position. So we default to your line manager and your current position, but we're totally flexible here. So if you're considering a lateral move, you could select a position in another team. If you want to check in against someone with a specific domain expertise, you could change the assessor to that person. The check-in itself is a three-step process. So first, the team member does it, then the manager does it, and then finally there's a step where both people do it simultaneously and compare opinions. So I'm going to show you what that looks like now. So actually, let me start this check-in. So I'm on step one here, and what I have is a box for each skill in my position. And I am invited to choose whether I'm working towards meeting or exceeding. So exactly what it sounds like. I can put in that I'm meeting. I can give an example of why I think I'm meeting user focus. And I can also open up the skill here and just look at what other levels look like. So if I want to sort of double check whether I'm working towards or exceeding, I can have a look. Level 3 is required here, so we can have a look at level 4 and just see what that looks like. Last thing that you're going to see here is the updates button. So if I've been tracking wins, completing actions, receiving feedback, that's going to show up here in the sidebar. So a really great way of fighting recency bias. You can see a backlog of all your achievements there. As you can see, we're auto-saving here at the top. So every time you make a change, that all saves. And you can come back and work on this multiple times. So let's save and close that. So that's the first step that the team member does. If I take a look at my reports, we'll see what the second step of the manager looks like. So now it's my turn as a manager to give my opinion on how my report is doing. As you can see, it looks exactly the same. The only difference is I can choose to view my report's answer. So here it turns out that Lance thought that he was meeting requirements. And great, I can use that to sort of gauge my input on it as well. So that part looks exactly the same. The final step, let me show you what that looks like. Okay, the joint review step. So this one looks a little bit different. We can see what the report wrote and the manager wrote, and we can put in some final notes. If there's a difference of opinion, so here my report thought she was meeting, I thought she was exceeding, we can sort of drill into the examples of the skill. We can reference the other levels, and then we can decide what that should look like, which level it should be. As we go through, it's natural that ideas for improvement come up. So as we're doing that, we can add in an action here. An action is sort of a tangible thing that you could do in the next 4 to 6 weeks to improve on this skill. So we could select a skill that it's for. We can time box it, and then we can put in what that's going to be there. And then finally, if we have some notes as we're going along that don't fit into a specific skill, we can add those in there. Once you've finished the once you've finished the check-in, you'll be able to see a completed one, and you'll end up with this sort of a view. You'll get a skills map of the green blob, which is the person, and the grey blob, which is the position, and you'll be able to see where the person is working towards, where they're exceeding, and when they're meeting expectations. Down below, you've got a record of how they got on and what was mentioned, and you can also start to compare that check-in with other positions. So Here, Jimmy checked in against design manager. What would it look like as a senior design manager? We can see sort of immediately the areas where they're exceeding, where they're meeting, and where there's more work to do. So that's just a really quick overview of check-ins and how they work. Hope that's helpful.